Hello guys, welcome back. Now today, I'm going to be talking about Rick Nash and him retiring from the game of hockey. Now Rick Nash has retired from the NHL, so why did he retire so young, and what were the highlights of his 15-year career? Now Rick Nash has decided to retire from the game of hockey at age 34, capping off a brilliant and amazing NHL career where he played with the Columbus Blue Jackets, the New York Rangers, and the Boston Bruins. Now, Rick Nash, of course, a left winger at age 34, played with the Columbus Blue Jackets, the New York Rangers, and the Boston Bruins in his 15-year career. He was drafted first overall back in the 2002 NHL Draft, which was a year before I was born. So this guy obviously has some years on him, but at age 34, he still had the opportunity to play some more games if he wanted. Now, spanning his entire career from 2002 to 2018, Rick Nash played 1,060 games. He had 437 goals, 368 assists for 805 points. He won 2 Olympic gold medals with Team Canada, and of course won the Maurice Richard Trophy back in 2004. Now, last March, when he was traded to the New York Rangers, he was playing with the Boston Bruins, of course, and during that March, in one of the games, Rick Nash suffered a concussion. It didn't look like something too major. While it was something that can maybe hurt his career, it didn't seem like a career-ending injury at that point. And, of course, with Rick Nash, he played for the rest of the season. He played in the playoffs for the Boston Bruins, so at that time, it looked like he was fine, and it looked like that concussion was a lot more minor than it actually was. Now, Rick Nash's agent came out and made a statement for Rick Nash, basically explaining why he retired and, of course, how it actually came to be. And it looks like, from what he said, that concussion in last March was the last nail in the coffin for him. Now, Rick Nash's agent says, quote, "Due to unresolved symptoms with the concussion sustained last March, Rick Nash will be forced to retire from the game of hockey. Under the advice of the medical team, the risk of further brain injury is far too great if Rick returns to play. Rick would like to thank everyone who has supported him during this difficult time period." Now, with that statement from Rick Nash's agents, we unfortunately get the news that the concussion that Rick Nash sustained in last March, it wasn't minor, it wasn't just another concussion, it was the last nail in the coffin for Rick Nash's career, and we know that those symptoms that he got in that concussion last March with the Boston Bruins were the thing to ultimately be his demise. Now, from this, we get the sense that Rick Nash is fine. He isn't injured or anything, but he did have concussion issues, and he did have concussion symptoms that were enough for team doctors and Rick Nash's doctors, and of course, sports specialists to tell him to not go back to the game of hockey. And with Rick Nash, I mean, he's at age 34. That is at the tail end of his career, but I do believe he still had maybe a couple more years in the tank. So even though Rick Nash probably wanted to return back to the NHL, it looked like the injuries and, of course, the concussion that he got back in last March were just blocking him and preventing him from coming back. And of course, after the Boston Bruins were eliminated in the second round for the Tampa Bay Lightning, he was looked at as one of the better free agents going into that free agent class, of course, the John Tavares free agent class. But Rick Nash could have gotten a lot of money if he actually wanted to go, and of course, if he was actually allowed to play hockey. But it looked like, from that standpoint, of course, Rick Nash pretty much disappeared off the earth. We didn't hear too many rumors about if he was going to get signed, who was going to sign him, because he was a pretty decent top 6 forward free agent, and he would have gotten signed if it was all good and clear, if his health was all good and clear. But from this indication, it looked like Rick Nash maybe made a decision prior to the free agency. Maybe he found out that information later, but we do know that if he was signed, he wouldn't be in a very good state anyways. And with that free agency, as the weeks started to go by, I was kind of starting to get worried about him because we didn't hear too much on the forefront of Rick Nash. I think we heard a couple of rumors that it was maybe health-related why he wasn't signed, but the weeks kept going and he kept being unsigned. Nobody was out there. There was no rumors about what was actually happening, and it just seemed like he disappeared off the face of the earth. And I was pretty worried about him and his future in the NHL, and of course now we get the confirmation that health was the reason for it. Now, Darren Dreger did say that if he were to actually be available to be signed, if his health were all good, there were quite a few teams that were pretty interested in him. Now, Darren Dreger says Toronto, Pittsburgh, San Jose, Columbus, and Boston were all in on Rick Nash and all wanted to see his availability. And of course, throughout the free agency, we didn't hear too much, but those teams were all checking in to see on his availability when it comes to his health, how he was actually doing, and of course, we still don't get a lot of news up until now in January, where he officially retires. Now, Darren Dreger also says that Nash puts family and health as the key factors as to why he retired. And of course, that makes sense, especially with the health concerns, having that concussion and having your doctors tell you that you're not ready to go. That's a good reason. But having the family there, I think, is also a great reason for Rick Nash to retire. And with that concussion at age 34, yes, he probably still had a little bit left in the tank, but it wasn't like he had a whole career ahead of him. He already played a lot of his prime years. He already played pretty well in his career, and of course being a first overall pick, he already had a lot to be thankful for. And with Rick Nash, I can definitely appreciate him taking his family first, and for him really embracing that. At age 34, if he continued to play, who knows how bad those concussions could have gotten. If he continued to push his body at age 35, at age 36, it could have gotten really messy. But I really appreciate the bold move here by Rick Nash to retire now, to spend time with his family, and of course have the rest of his life ahead of him now, retiring from hockey. It would still have been cool to see Rick Nash return, but of course with the concussions and what the doctor said and what we actually got to hear, it wouldn't have been very pretty, and it could have gotten a lot worse. And I certainly already respected Rick Nash before. I already had a pretty big respect of him for being such a talented hockey player, obviously, but making this move of spending time with family now and not risking making it worse is something that I can really appreciate towards him, and I can really tend towards, and it's something that I think takes balls to do. It definitely does. It takes a lot of courage to do something like that, but I feel like in the long run, it'll help Rick Nash, and it'll help his family for sure. So again, massive respect to a Blue Jackets legend, one of the best Blue Jackets of all time, if not the best Blue Jacket of all time. And of course, we'll likely see his number retired by the Columbus Blue Jackets. That is almost a guarantee. We'll probably see that in the next couple of years. But again, with Rick Nash, he was an absolute legend. It was a tough way to go out, but also a good decision on his part. But of course, with this video, I want to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comments down below. So let me know, what do you think about Rick Nash? What do you think about the teams that he played for? What do you think of his entire career? And of course, what do you think of him retiring at age 34? But if you guys want some more Grav videos, you can watch this video where I talk about Sergei Bobrovsky controversy and him getting benched by Jarmo Kekalainen. But that is going for today, guys. If you guys enjoy, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you haven't already. You can comment down below your thoughts on Rick Nash and his NHL career. And I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Goodbye.